confrontation with the enemy, he'll forget his evil ways and learn to love us.
I am confused. Being philosophically consistent and being a very honest person, I'm sure you can tell me where God came from.
That you're thinking of the wrong, obviously it displays that you're thinking of the wrong God. Because the God of the Bible is not affected by time, space, or matter. If he's affected by time, space, or matter, he's not God.
This is the Philosophically Poetic Show. Right here on FM.
What is up? Welcome. You are tuned into Philosophically Poetic right here on Active FM. This is your girl Noelzii, and yet for another week of philosophy. And I know y'all might be thinking that Noelzii, you don't sound the same. What's going on? Well, I have come down with the cold. No, it is not Corona. Thank you, Jesus. But I have come down with the cold, and my voice will be like this for the remainder of the show. But I could not leave y'all hanging, right? Because what kind of a person does that to people? We have just finished off the philosophy of justice and linking into something else that is very, very, very important. I am excited to start this because this is where everything stems from. And now more and more we're seeing in our societies how people are coming up more and more with this, and they're trying to push this as an agenda. And if we do not speak about this, then we end up aiding them. That is why it's very important. The topic is super, super important. Make sure that we dance to this music together. And right after this, I will tell you what that topic is. But we're going to switch it up, right? And this week, I am going to play you DJ Merlon featuring Black Coffee, who is a South African artist, and Kaya Mtetwa. And this one is called Reflections. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Johan Kruger from Creation Ministries International. Just want to say to you that I serve a great and wonderful God that created everything, and He created me, and He also created you.
Exclusive for Address in the House.
Amaqhinga phelile amahlathi aphelile. There is no turning back. The truth shall set me free. Lashoni langa Give me koti, but I'm standing here alone, naked as a fool.
Exclusive from Address in the House. Exclusive from Address in the House.
Been talking about justice, and for me it has really been a fight for titles, as I spoke about in last week's show. If you haven't heard any of those shows, make sure you go back and listen to that, because in our society we see more and more how people are fighting for justice, people are fighting for their rights, they're fighting for this and that, and we are not getting to the root of things. We are not getting to what actually matters, and if we do not fight the real fights, we actually find ourselves falling back. Now, on to what we're speaking about this week. We are speaking about the philosophy of science. Yes, the philosophy of science. And I remember the first time sitting in philosophy class and they were telling us what we're going to be learning, and they got to the philosophy of science and they're like, you better strap in, because if you never believed in science, you're going to see science in a whole different way, and this is going to show you and give you proofs and all of that. And I sat there, to be quite honest, and I was freaked out. In that moment, I was like, I don't want to learn about this. I don't want to hear anything they have to say about this, because they're just going to lie. They're going to try to steal my faith away from me. How could they? I was fighting for justice. I'm ashamed to say I was fighting for justice, but I was like, what is going to happen if these people win? Is it feasible? Is it possible that I can sit in this class and learn about science, as I've learned about all the way through school, and then come out of this with my faith, am I going to lose my faith? And those are real questions that I had to ask myself, because when you're thrown into university, it's a whole different ball game. They do not care about what you're coming in with. They do not care about your preconceived notions. They are there to fill your mind with what they have on their agenda. And I knew these were one of these things. As I've told you before, I watched a movie about a guy who goes to university and his faith is questioned on the first day. And for me, it was not so much of my faith was questioned on the first day, but it sort of made me wobble, because I was like, can I really say that I know what is going to happen if I learn this? Can I really say that I'm confident in my faith to say that I can learn this and nothing bad is going to happen to me? I'm not going to lose my faith. I'm not going to go back and second guess God. And many times when we hear such topics, we shy away from them because we automatically think, oh my goodness, you're trying to attack my faith, how dare you? But I want us to learn this in a way that will help you, that when these arguments come about, you are able to go, no, that's not what I know, and you are able to move past that. Now, starting off with the philosophy of science. This is not a subject that was new to me. As I said, when you go into life sciences, when you go into science in school in general, we are taught about the evolution theory. That is the theory that is taught in schools, meaning that's the standard of what everyone that goes through the school system should believe. And we are taught that basically the world started off as nothing started spinning, big bang, here we are. And we evolved from apes and monkeys. And because of that, we cannot believe in God, because where does God play into that equation? See, the philosophy of science starts way before university. It's all around you. People doubting, people telling you Mother Earth is saying this, people telling you all of these things. And we are going to break this down. We are going to go into the Church of Scientology, rather, and we are going to show you what is what. Because if we do not do this, then who is to say that something will not come into the future and then break down what we believe? So going on to this, being in life class, being in science and learning about Darwinism and how we evolved, I was not even aware of who Darwin was as a person. For me, it was always like this guy who came up with this theory. I remember there was a show on TV called The Big Bang Theory. It's still on now, and I loved that show. I was like, this show is the boss. They literally speak science as we are speaking now, and they tell you what is what. And I never subconsciously knew that Sheldon, who is the main character of that show, was portrayed there as someone who was forced to grow up Christian. And because of that, he resented his mom. His mom was always an idiot. He always thought lowly of his mother. When he was asked about his mother, it'd be like, why would you bring her here? Or why would you call her? You know, she's just going to scold me or make me read the Bible and stuff like that. And you don't even realize what that does to you subconsciously. Just watching the show, The Big Bang Theory, I started buying into that theory. I started buying into the fact that, yeah, this is how it happened. Things exploded, and we have been evolving ever since. But when you start opening your eyes to what is actually being taught in science and who is actually teaching it, you know, Darwin was a racist. And I know nowadays we like to think that many other people are racist who are not, but he literally was. And this is being taught in our schools as if this guy wasn't racist. He basically said that the process of evolution makes certain races inferior to other races, and that we all came along in this line of evolution, and some of us are less evolved than the others. And that would be obvious for him to say that the white people, in his view, were more superior than the black people. Now already, just listening to what this man believed, I'm like kicking this theory out of my mind. But the way it is taught in school, It is taught as if this is facts. Science has proven this. Science has showed us multiple times that this is what happened and this is how it happened. But let me ask you something. Can those scientists go back to the beginning of time? Can they actually, without a doubt, say that this is what happened that time and this is how it happened? They can't. In the book of Job, we see where God is questioning Job and he's like, where were you when the foundations of the earth were laid? Don't only the people or only the beings, if we want to put it in that way, because people can become so obnoxious about this stuff, but only the being that was there in the beginning of time can tell you what happened in the beginning of time. And it's very weird to me how the Bible has been right over and over and over again. It has predicted stuff. It has told us why certain things are a certain way, yet people tend not to believe it and to believe in science. And that is why I'm making it my mission to go into the philosophy of science and to break down its arguments and to say, listen, this is what we are being taught to believe in school, but is this true? I know now in schools they're teaching that there's no such thing as heaven. They're teaching that they're teaching all these different theories, and we see churches like the Church of Scientology opening all around the world, and we stand at a loss because we just stand quiet as Christians. It is time that we get equipped with knowledge of what these things actually mean, of what is actually being said. That's so we can go out and fight the right fight. We are fighting not for justice, but we are fighting to bring Christ back onto the earth and to bring people back to believing in him. Now, this song is very special because it's called Truth Be Told, and in this series of the philosophy of science, I want to tell the truth. I don't want us to live under this veil of lies, believing what people want us to believe. I want us to open our eyes to the truth. So right after this, we are going to start digging into the philosophy of science. So let us go and listen to Truth Be Told.
On a minimum wage, ice in your drip, it's a minimum wave. I'm repping my city, my digits LA. Won't get the line, but I'm calling the play. I hear Fugazi, that's never been me. I keep it G247 a week. Holla at me if you really got problems. Spray on my phone, but won't put up the dollars. Haven't you heard all that talk ringing cheap? I'm a new animal, still the same beast. Roam through the street cause I'm about to unleash. There should be roses all under my feet. Ain't talking brick when I say that I trap. Partied in Bandos and bust out the back. Wanted to fit in, we all wanted that. Know you and Lee when you're watching your back. Lately my heart been so Canada. Don't need your hand up like Bannister. I may just turn them like Bannon. He like to fly, no landing. Order my steps, it ain't random. Got everything I demanded. A shooter gon' air out in traffic. If that's for the birds, then I'm magic. I can't relate to your raps. I tell the truth and I got what you need. I did get right back on track. I got the dream, I can't die in these streets. I just be talking the facts. If it's a problem, then leave it to me. That's how I got where I'm at. Working and praying, I had to believe.
Yeah, I'm probably the realest to do it. Don't tell me how you play the game, cause when you had a chance, you blew it. All of them pills were so hard to swallow, but we improvising, just chew it. Basically, make no excuses, whatever it take, you just gotta go do it. Hey, I see how they playing them sweet. I won't let them do that to me. I'ma keep pushing, I put that on zine. I want the smoke just to let off some steam. They wanna stop me like setting the screen. Man, pick a side, you can't sit in between. I had to answer the call at a team. I made a change when God intervened. Yeah. You make a match, but I swear ain't no challenger, yeah. Fulfilling the prophecy, hammer and nails. I wanna roll with the whistles and bells. They wanna kill me and put me in jail. You just an amateur, you keep on talking, so you just a rambler. They want a shot at the throne like the Lannisters. Ay.
I can't relate to your raps. I tell the truth and I got what you need. I did get right back on track. I got the dream, I can't die in these streets. I just be talking the facts. If it's a problem, then leave it to me. That's how I got where I'm at. Working and praying, I had to believe.
You are holy, you are holy.
reactive. Being reactive is being a people of reaction, people of change, being a movement of young people. It's not just a band, it's not just good music or inspiring words, it's not just catchy, it's life-changing.
Passion I pursue and cling to you. You're my all, you're my all, you're my all.
You can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
We just listened to that amazing track. How awesome is that? You know that Active FM is not only the home where radio has never been better, but it is where Christ music is hot music. And digging into this topic of science and believing in the science of things. In my opinion, science has proven to me to be nothing more than theories and hypotheses. It has proven to be nothing more than what people believe. And we see more and more how it's being pushed in our faces. I mean, in schools, Christianity is being pushed out because it's seen as being biased. It's seen as teaching people the wrong things. One of the things that I want to speak about first, because science, as much as they want to call Christianity a religion, science is a religion. And this is where we need to start. We need to start here. If we are going to teach our kids to believe in science as a part of the curriculum, then why is it not okay for Christian schools to teach Christ? Why is that being forced out of schools? Why are people fighting against that? And in China, recently, a pastor and his wife have been arrested because they've chosen to homeschool their kid. Now, I don't know about you, but with everything that is wanting to be taught in school, starting all the way from the beginning of this whole sexual education that they want to teach us, our kids, starting from there and moving on to teaching our kids not to believe in anything, that you are a mistake, that you just happened by chance, that you are what resulted from evolution and you're the best of the species of evolution. Between all of that, why would I not want to homeschool my kid? And why is it a criminal offense to homeschool your kid? It is because the information they're teaching us in our schools, in our universities, is more than just something that is taught and then you move on. This is building who you are. And if they can get to children from when they're young and go all the way until they graduate, they can change their mentality and they can change how they believe in God. If we look at what the UN is doing, the UN is trying to push out Christianity completely, because they say Christians are not tolerant, but they are not bearing in mind that by doing that, they need to replace that with something. And what is that they're replacing it with? Because they want to replace it with pedophilia, which is why they want to teach our kids in schools to be sexual. They want to replace that with people who can kill people because your life doesn't matter. We are just mistakes. And I have the right by natural selection to say that you mean nothing, or maybe I mean nothing, so I'm going to kill myself. They're teaching science. And from that, they are molding our generation into straying away from God. Now, I want to move on to the Church of Scientology, because this church has been under so much scrutiny, and we have seen more and more cases coming out of the Church of Scientology. Now, if you don't know how the Church of Scientology was founded, it was founded by one man who was a fictional writer in the first place. Now, listen, the guys that wrote the Bible were not fictional writers. This man was a guy that wrote fictional books from the beginning. He did not hide that. That was his profession. Why on earth would I follow a religion started by a guy who was a fictional writer? And basically, what this whole thing says is that you go from a place of you go from stage to stage, and at the end you meet the ultimate being, ultimate God sort of a thing, and it's an alien. So the whole time you've been building up to see an alien. Now, I don't know who in their right minds put 2 and 2 together and said this man is right. And I am going to go into more detail about the Church of Scientology in weeks coming. I just want to give you a brief overview. And then from there, this man died and appointed another man who was sort of like his protege. And he's basically running the church. They worship this guy as if he's God. And this guy is actually friends with Tom Cruise, who is in the church. And what they do is they try and get these big celebrities that so people may want to join the Church of Scientology. And they have a system where you hold on to these poles sort of things. And the computer basically reads whether you're lying. It's like a lie detector test in church. And they lie detector you. And if you've done something bad, they can punish you as they see fit. And there's been a lot of weird stuff happening around the Church of Scientology, such as the high priest's wife, or whatever they call that guy, the head of the Church of Scientology in the world. His wife has disappeared for a couple of years now, and nobody knows where she is. And if anyone calls to ask the church what is happening, nobody says anything. And this is based on the beliefs of science. And not only do they not know where she is, but there has been a lot of allegations about a certain house where she might be held. And why would he do that to his own wife, do you ask? It's because she wanted to turn against him, and he punished her for years, keeping her by herself. Now, if this does not seem evil at this point, then I don't know what evil looks like in our opinions. And this is the Church of Scientology. And I think it's very important that we start looking into these things, because many times people want to criticize Christianity and say that Christianity is this, it's rules, they just want to control you. If we look at the Church of Scientology, that's where the control is really. If we look at science as a whole, I've never believed in anything science says, because science is a bunch of hypotheses that have not been proven, that cannot be proven. They can take a rock out of the ground and say this rock has been around for 200 billion years? No. They can say that this thing has been around for centuries. I'll put it that way. And this rock, because of this dent, and because when we stick our machines into it, this is the reading we get, it has been around for centuries. They don't know that. I don't know that. You don't know that. It's a bunch of hypotheses. And so is the Big Bang Theory. It can never be proven. Why? Because in order for them to prove it, they need to be there at the point of inception, and they need to actually witness everything happening. We cannot say that this is this many years old because of how that looks, and this is that many years old because of how that looks. And the one question I've always asked science is, more than 2,000 years after evolution, why are we still not evolving now? Why are apes still not evolving now? What magically, randomly stopped the process of evolution? And how can we trust it? And these are real questions that we're going to ask throughout this series of the philosophy of science, because many times we hear big words like these being put together and we're like, it must be true, it must be right. Maybe my faith is not enough. You know what? Maybe I should stop believing what I believe, because maybe I'm wrong. It's now that we need to start questioning not our faith, but we need to start questioning what we are being taught. And that is why I thought this philosophy of science would be a good one to go into next. And trust me, we are going to be uncovering heat on heat on heat on heat. You do not want to miss a second of it. But right now, let's go and breathe. And then we're going to carry on.
Christ music is hot music.
Radio has never been better. Hot music. Active FM.
So we have been talking about Scientology and the Church of Scientology and the philosophy of science. And many times the argument that I get is, Nolene, but this stuff has been proven. How can you say you don't believe it? Nolene, but there's evidence of this. How come you don't believe it? And there's evidence of the Bible too. How come people don't believe that? Why are we so quick to believe certain things and dismiss other things? And that's why I found this show very important for me to do, because it's more than just speaking philosophy. It's about changing our mindset, because I realized the once when I was evangelizing and this girl was just throwing big words at me, and I was like, man, she's right. Why do I believe what I believe? Why did I come and tell her about Jesus? But afterwards, I was convicted, because I was like, you don't know much about the stuff. So when people tell you stuff, it's easy for you to believe. And I don't want us to be that type of people. I want us to understand. And that's why we're going through this series. And we're going to continue to go through this series. Make sure that you stick with the show. If you haven't listened to any other shows, make sure you go back and listen to them. If you're looking for us, you can find us on our socials. Firstly, on our website, www.activefm.co.za. Otherwise, find us on Facebook /ActiveFM. Simply find us on Instagram at ActiveFM777, the number of heaven. Make sure that you get to that. And if you're looking for me personally, it's at philosophically_poetic. But for another week, signing out. Peace out and God bless you. Love you. Bye. Go. 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 Go.
Common clay jars carrying treasure, revealing extraordinary power, opening ourselves up to the truth, brilliant light piercing through the darkness. Pressed on every side but not crushed, no, we strive for eternity. We trust not what we see, the resurrection of Christ revealed through humanity. Pressed on every side but not crushed, no, we strive for eternity. We trust not what we see, the resurrection of Christ revealed through humanity. Not always sure what to do, but quitting ain't an option. Knocked down but the light is never out, persecuted but never forsaken. So no, we're never giving up. Our inner being is being renewed every day. Difficulty producing the substance for a glory beyond comparison. Pressed on every side but not crushed, no, we strive for eternity. We trust not what we see, the resurrection of Christ revealed through humanity. the seen, but the unseen. Not distracted by slight short-lived troubles. No, we endure. I will focus on the King of Kings. 'Cause he loves me, I'll focus on his mercies. 'Cause he leads me, I'll focus on his healing power. 'Cause he's got me, I'll focus on his provision. 'Cause he feeds me, I'll focus on his victory. He already set me free. Pressed on every side but not crushed. No, we strive for eternity. We trust not what we see, the resurrection of Christ revealed through humanity. Pressed on every side but not crushed. No, we strive for eternity. We trust not what we see, the resurrection